Yeah, my expectations are still high. It's because of how Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, runs their defense.
Well, they're going to double down on the running game. This is a Greg Roman offense. They're going to do what they do and run the ball. They felt they could have ran the ball better last year.
Jerry, the other thing they're going to do is they're going to get sacked less, and here's why. They drafted Omarion Hampton in the first round.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Chargers in tonight's video. It's funny, patience is a lost art not only in the world today, but especially in the National Football League. When we talk about teams like the Los Angeles Chargers, I always get a bunch of comments or even just seeing other people talk about it and other rhetoric around this team. And it's like, oh, well, they're still going to win 10 or 11 games and lose in the second round of the playoffs to X or Y. And it's like, patience. Just have patience. The Chargers went from a 6-win team to an 11-win team, and it's easy to say in retrospect, like right now, July 17th, 2025, it's easy to sit here and say, I knew the Chargers were not going to be the predicted, 7-win team like they were 1 year ago. And so Los Angeles they win over 10 games. Unfortunately, they lose in the playoffs, and obviously they needed more offensive help. They needed more weaponry, and we knew that in the regular season. We knew it, honestly, before the season began, and we saw it happen in the playoffs. And so the Chargers made a whole bunch of moves. Shout out Mike Williams, though. He just retired. Great NFL career. All I would say on that matter is exactly what your starting quarterback said. I wish you the best, and I want what is best for you. Trey Harris, Johnston, Ladd McConkey, the tight end room, the running back room, is it like an all-pro Madden juiced roster, all 99 ratings? No, but no team in the NFL is. And that's just kind of what I'm saying about this whole patience thing, where it's like, Harbaugh is preaching patience. And we didn't see any moves 1 year ago that were all that crazy. And what happened? They made the playoffs. So this past offseason, you did see some fun moves. You didn't see anything all that crazy, though. Nothing crazy. Trey Harris, Omarion Hampton, a couple of nice moves in free agency like Najee Harris. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So we're talking obviously about the Los Angeles Chargers in tonight's video. But before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Chargers fans, always appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. All right. The reason I'm even making this video tonight is, well, first off, I do love talking to the Los Angeles Chargers, but I was reading an article, NFL's underrated, overrated teams in 2025. It was from Mike Jones on The Athletic, and he had the Chargers as underrated, and I agree, and I think everyone else kind of agrees as well. No matter what happens this upcoming season, this is a team that has a bunch of potential. And a big reason they have a bunch of potential, in my opinion, is because of these young dudes on offense. And I was watching some Ladd McConkey film earlier today because, first off, Justin Herbert gets the most weird amount of hate ever. It's just honestly super weird. But then I get, now that I say it out loud, lack of playoff success. But when you zoom out to Justin Herbert's career, whenever it is over, I think it's going to be a laughing matter. The Chargers youth movement began last year. Joe Alt posted a almost 76 PFF overall grade, which was 8th amongst qualified right tackles. Ladd McConkey earned an 85 PFF receiving grade, which was 12th amongst all wide receivers. And like I just said, I was watching some of his film earlier today, and there was even a specific play, week 1, his first ever NFL touchdown against the Las Vegas Raiders, and he had a double ankle breaker. It was just cool. And I think people are almost underestimating, maybe not Chargers fans, but I think the rest of the NFL is almost underestimating just how good not only was his rookie season, but just how good and high his ceiling is. And so now you bring in a couple of rookies, Omarion Hampton, Trey Harris, and I like the tight end room. I like Tyler Conklin. We're going to talk about your rookie tight end in just a minute here because I think the dude's a beast. But the big thing with this offense also was in the running game. They were just a little below average, finishing 17th in the NFL in rushing yards per game, but the addition, I know Najee had a firework experience, and hopefully, and I assume that all works itself out, but Omarion Hampton is an absolute beast. And like we're talking about this rookie youth movement, last season, man, this tackle duo, the Chargers tackle duo, is one of the best in the business. Left tackle Rashawn Slater finished 2024 ranked second at his position with a 91 PFF grade. Joe Alt, like we just mentioned, was unbelievable as a rookie. One player, before we get into some of these rookies that I do, and I've talked about him numerous times on this channel, you guys talk about him as well. Training camp for you guys began today, and the viral clip right now is a Quentin Johnston drop. And I will admit, it is a little bit risky, but I think everyone would agree he's kind of like the make or break player on this Chargers offense next season. You know, no matter how Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris pan out this upcoming year, if Quentin Johnston could turn into what everybody kind of thought in the first round he was going to turn into, well, then it's looking really good. But the first 2 years, bottom line, have been they've been underwhelming. He's topped 60 receiving yards in just 3 out of his 33 career games. The good news is he had a 68 PFF receiving grade, which was a huge sign of progress. But like we're saying here, you got Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey. What people are kind of, and I guess the loss of Mike Williams makes this almost redundant, but every time I hear people talking about Quentin Johnston, it's like he's got to perform, otherwise he's going to lose his starting spot. And that's true, but I also think it's just going to open him up. You know, I think not having all this pressure, you know, he had a good year with Ladd McConkey last season being wide receiver number 1, another drop in pressure there. I will never give up on Quentin Johnston as long as he's in the NFL, and that just stands still. But while we end it here, I got to talk about some of these rookies. The dude out of Syracuse, he's fascinating to me because good receiving tight ends as rookies in the NFL are very hard to come by, and the Chargers obviously were missing a very important vertical threat at tight end last season, and that's why you traded up to get Gadsden in, what was it, the 5th round. Maybe it's because he was in the 5th round. I'm not really sure. You're hearing some hype about some of these tight ends in the 1st round. Gadsden's a name I've not even seen all offseason. Now, granted, I live in Florida. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so I'm not really in the Chargers news world. I do know he is gathering a lot of hype within your team. But this is a dude who just caught 73 catches for 934 yards and 7 touchdowns last season at Syracuse. The year before that, he got injured 1 or 2 games in. And the year before that, while he was still playing wide receiver, by the way, he's 6'5", 200 something. He had pretty much an identical stat line, somewhere around 70, 60 catches for 900 whatever yards, around 7 touchdowns. The dude really intrigues me. You got Will Dissly, Tyler Conklin, and Gadsden now. And, we talk about how the tight end room, was a huge flaw for the Chargers last season, or it wasn't ideal for the Chargers. And I keep watching this guy's tape, and I'm like, he might be one of the best catching tight ends in the draft. So I'm kind of surprised / confused why I'm not hearing his name more often. Maybe you guys can shine some light there. But unfortunately, that is it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But guys, give me a loose win-loss projection for this Chargers team down below. Peace.